scars on the surface, but they deeper within. Every stitch is a chapter, every break is a win. From the pain we ascend, like the phoenix we rise. Scars Podcast, where the truth never lies.
We are back with another episode of Scars. Listen, I have a guest. You know what? I just want to get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my brother, Mr. Harris. How you doing, Mr. Harris?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Excited to be here with you. Excited to be a part of your journey. Excited to be a part of your plan. Because here's one thing I know about you, and that is whenever you put your mind to do something, you're going to do it in excellence, and you're going to do it with other people in mind. And that's the one thing that God has showed me about you, that you're real. Some people say they're real, but if a person have to say that they're real, trust me, they're not transparent. They're holding some things back. But, you know, I'm excited to be here. Scarred. I got scars. Okay. I got scars, but good news.
But
yes, sir.
Before we get into it, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background.
I come from the inner city. You know, when you grow up in the hood, you know, once you elevate yourself, you call it the inner city, right? Absolutely. So I grew up in the inner city. I was a pharmaceutical rep back in the day. I was I processed it, made it, and sold it. So, you know, you graduate, you call it pharmaceutical rep.
Okay.
But I knew that going through the early parts of my life, as I began to matriculate into a more mature individual, if you will, I realized that I couldn't do that the rest of my life. I couldn't, you know, there's three people that I was always keeping my eye on, was the stick-up boy, the police, and the guy that I'm bringing it to. Somebody is going to look at you and want to do something that you don't want done. So I realized early on that that was something that I couldn't do for long. I couldn't do it forever. And I did it for many, many years. I mean, you know, starting in 9th grade, I was the one. By the time I was 21, the party didn't start literally until I got there. And I don't mean that theoretically. I mean literally. But as you begin to grow, you find out that there's no future there, because everybody that I saw that was, as they say now, in the game, everybody that I saw was either in jail, dead, or, you know, the product had took over them. And I didn't want that to be my story. You know, my daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was born, I had aggression, right? But when my middle child was born, I lost my heart. I mean, literally, I lost it. I couldn't do the things that I used to do anymore. So I began to look at other ways to create that stream of income, an income that was somewhat endless, if you will, but you could do what you wanted to do. And the only thing I found that I could do that with and be legal was real estate.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let's see what this game is about. And I dove in and I began to make money. And I'm talking about, you know, I came in the real estate business in the late 80s, early 90s is when I came. Nobody was doing there was very few minorities doing the real estate.
Okay.
Right. So I came in, there was no minorities in the business that was making any money. And my goal was to make money. I wasn't out here playing. I mean, you know, my goal was to really get it in. So I learned the game and I realized everybody was making money with brokers. So I said, well, let me go be a broker. I mean, let me do what they do. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I went through, learned it, did it, grew the business, and then things happened. You know, things happen in life. You know, I went through a divorce, and out of divorce, I got my children. My ex, she didn't want the kids. She wanted her freedom. And I had a daughter that was 4 and 11. So I gave her the house. I took the kids. And I said, I need help raising my daughter. So I went to my grandmother, who had raised me. I said, Mom, I need your help. She said, well, baby, whatever I can do. So I went back I was living in Mount Airy. I went back to North Philly, where I was born and raised, where the mice and the roaches and everything was. I went back there and, you know, gave my daughters the female that they needed and the help that I needed.
Absolutely.
And we just, you know, we went on from there. And things just began to happen. I think we went through about 8 years before I really decided to look at marriage again, and a lot of times people look at marriage and they look at being with someone. And I hear a dangerous word that people say. They say, I fell in love, right? Okay. That sounds dangerous to me. I mean, why would you want to fall in anything, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to fall in nothing. If anything, I'm going to choose to be with this person with all their flaws that I found in them, the flaws that I see in me, the discontent that I find in them, the discontent that I may have in me. I choose you. Well, now in a choice, when you're making a choice, now you can make a difference because you knew this was a problem. But when you fall in it, you may wake up and say, man, I done fell. And now that I've fallen, I don't like it. Well, we had a choice before we fell to say, this is not going to work, right? But nobody tells us that around the dinner table. Mm-hmm. Right. We look at the Jeffersons and and those are shows that when I was coming up, and the Huxtables, Cosby. Right. And all this stuff looked good, man. So let me get married. So all that can take place. But what we don't realize is that stuff take work. Yes. Right. Yes. And it's a work that's a two-way street. So, once you begin to learn that it's a job, and I see people today, I'm going to get married when I'm whatever age, whatever it is. No, get married when you find. The Bible says when a man has found his wife, he has found a good thing. Well, I study, right? So when I studied that word, it said that before a man can find a wife, he has to do, watch this, a scientific investigation on himself, right? And when you do a scientific investigation on yourself, you find out what you're missing. But now when you go find a wife, you're finding what you're missing. So now the two can truly become one and grow, right? You're not going to find nobody perfect because you're in it, right? So it's not going to be perfect, but it will have perfection because you have found what you're missing. And it can be as simple as, I like to cook, she don't like to cook. That's okay, right? I don't like to clean, she wants a clean house. That's okay, right? I don't like to drive, she likes to drive. That's okay. It can be that simple. And then there are some complexities. I'm out here in the water now, but now the Bible also said, you got to stop me, man, because I get on a roll,
go ahead,
right?
Brother. I'm letting you go. This is
the Bible says that the man has a function and the female, his helpmeet, has a function. And when we study it, her function, we're confused as men, her function is not to love you. Ooh. Right? Yeah. Come on, man. Something wrong. What's wrong with you? No, that's not her function.
Okay.
Her function is to respect you.
Wow.
Your function is to love her. It says that you are to love your wife as Christ loved the church, right? Now, I'm not going to get, into religion, so that's not the conversation. But at the same time, if she doesn't know how to love me, then what is it that she can do? She can honor you. She can respect you. And when a man is getting honor and respect, he feels strong. The woman will love them kids. And you'll be like, well, why don't you do for me what you do for them children? She's not built for that. She's not built to treat you like the children. She's not built to love you. She's built to honor you and respect you. You're built to love her. If we ever get that right, if we ever get the understanding of that correct, divorces will not be as plentiful as they are because everybody would know their position in life, right? And these things you learn in time. You don't walk out, you don't grow up and just know this, right? It takes pain to understand that. But when we go through the pain, when we go through the scars, now we can begin to look at what God's word says a little differently and then apply it to life. And I walk differently. We'll talk differently. And we'll expect different things out of our spouse. Because most men looking for her, oh man, I want you to love me, but she ain't built for that. He said, that's your helpmeet. He didn't say, yes, your slave. That's not the word. It's helpmeet. So now watch this. Another problem with some men, right, is they're not going nowhere. They're home on the couch, sleep, And they wonder why she keep going to church and why she keep going someplace. She's built to help you meet something. You got to be doing something. If you're not doing nothing and you want her just to give you everything, she ain't built for that. She's not built for that.
Okay. All right, y'all. See, now I thought I was going to sit down. We didn't want to church with my brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. I ain't mad at you, man. Yeah. That is a lot. Y'all hear that, man? You hear it? She ain't built to love you. Y'all hear that, man? So okay, that's what's up.
It's not it.
So now that we here, brother, let's get into it.
Yeah,
man. Let's talk about some scars, man.
Yeah, one of, and I had a couple of big pains in my life. My brother-in-law told me, he said, you know, in life, you're going to have at least 2 huge challenges. Mm-hmm. And those huge challenges in life will be a defining moment for you. It will either define you go up or you just destroy your life. And I believe my first defining moment was when I lost my grandmother, right? Because that's who raised me. She lived to be 98 years old, right? My whole life was with her. But, and she used to always say, baby, I don't know what I'd do without you, right? And I would always say, Mom, let's try not to figure that one out, right? Yeah. But I never looked at what I would have to do without her. And it wasn't the fact of she did anything but be there. I mean, the fact that I knew she was there, I never felt like I was alone. But for the first time when she passed and I had the realization that she was gone, it was really a time to say, well, now you got to be what she was. You have to now step up. You got to put on, as we say it in the street, your big boy pants. You got to pull up your pants. And that pain, it never goes away. You just learn to live with it.
Yes.
And you learn how to do all the things that you've done with that spear of pain in your arm. What did Paul say? Paul said, I'm going to teach you how to live, how to love, how to do everything that you can do in life with that spear of pain in your arm. So every day, man, I mean, there's sometimes when, you know, I may be just doing nothing and some things that she said or did or something come up and I have to just grip myself or hold myself. Yeah. Now, it doesn't happen often as it used to. When she first died, I mean, for at least the first year or so, I'd be riding down the street, man, and it was like it was raining. I had to pull over, right? I had to pull over and just get myself together because of the pain. Mm-hmm. And we all are going to cross that bridge.
Listen, yeah. I lost my mom about 11 years ago and I still.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Feel that, you know, yeah. And it's kind of funny because now even thinking about it, I have such fond memories, right? You know, so yes, I miss her, but I wouldn't trade places with nobody.
Oh, I know that's right.
Right. You know what I mean? When I say my mom raised me and my brothers and sisters, my mom raised us. Mm-hmm. So she's with me every day in everything that I do.
That's good.
You know, and because of her, man, I could take over the world.
I hear you.
You know, and that is my approach in business and everything.
That's good.
You know,
That's
she kind of built us in a way where like nothing is impossible. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. So I'm here. And that's why I'm in a position now where I wanted to do this show to kind of get to help others deal with their scars, you know, deal with their wounds. They ain't even scars yet, you know, and just letting them know that we all go through things.
Oh man, it's
you know, and it's just about, you know, getting through it, you know, so hopefully this episode and the episodes to come could help people deal with their scars and know that they're not alone, you know.
And it's real. And it's real. I mean, you know, and if I might backtrack just a little bit.
Go ahead.
And this one would sting if I hadn't grown past it, right? I was 2 weeks old and my mother said, I can't keep this boy, right? And she was getting ready to take me to who knows where. And she went to my grandmother's. My grandmother said it was on a Friday night when she brought me to her and said, my grandmother's name was Inez. She said, Inez, I can't keep him. Her mother wouldn't let her bring another baby in that house. She said, I got to give him away.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother she said, well, give him to me, right? And she was getting ready to go to a cabaret. I mean, back in the day, that's what they did. They went to the cabarets, they got the table, they brought their alcohol, and they danced and drank. She said, I stayed home. And when my grandfather got home, he said, what is this? What is going on? She said, well, I'm going to raise him. He said, how are we going to do that? She said, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. So from 2 weeks old, I was with my grandmother. I never saw my mother until I was 16.
Wow.
Right? So what does that say? That says, if you allow it, it says they didn't want me. I was nobody. I was to be nobody. And I could have ended up anywhere, but no, God had fixed it so that my grandmother was able to take me. And it wasn't, my grandmother graduated from fifth grade. She had a fifth grade education. My grandfather had a second grade education. So in school, I wasn't getting no help. I mean, the mathematics, you're on your own, right?
Yeah.
And my grandparents raised me, and they gave me the understanding of what respect is. And there are times that I had respect beat into me. You know what I mean? My grandfather would say, I will beat the hell out of you. And literally he would. Today, you look at him and you're in trouble. But I do remember, but those type of disciplines really will make a person in my opinion, will help make a person stronger than if they have no discipline whatsoever. So yeah, man, 2 weeks old, and I can't raise him. So will that hurt your feelings? Yeah. Will that make you feel like you're nothing? It has the ability to. But it depends on your thoughts, your psyche, in which you will allow yourself to believe. Thoughts are things. And the good news is we have the ability to control our thoughts, right? As the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, that's who he is. So what are you thinking? What are you telling yourself? What do we tell ourselves every day? Not what did we tell you that we tell ourselves, because that really doesn't matter. It's what we tell ourselves every day is what matters. And, I teach all my kids, that's every one of my children. I teach them. I said, we are not, and I'm not going to allow you to be arrogant. Arrogance is no place for that. But I'm going to run you right up on that confidence level. You're going to have so much confidence that people may think you're arrogant, and that's entirely up to them. They can think what they want to think, but you're going to be confident that there's nothing that you can't do that you put your mind to doing.
Ain't that the truth?
Now, if we take society's role, you have to stay in this section. You have to be in this way. You have to do this or do that. No, there is no limit. The only limit that there is what? The limit that we put on ourselves. And again, that's real life. One of the things I wanted to touch on, and then I'll go wherever you want to go, is some of the pain that we had with our parents and things that we go through. We were prepared for that if we read the word. If we read the word, we were prepared for that. When I first got the word, it says, we're given 70 and 10, right? But it goes on to say, but if by reason of faith, by reason of strength, by reason of faith, you live to see 80, that's 80 years, your life will labor in pain. I didn't understand that when I first read it. It blew my mind. I'm like, why would you tell me that my life is going to have pain? That doesn't seem to be fair. But it wasn't until I began to grow in life and go through life and keep living that I realized the more that we live, the more pain that we endure, but also the more that pain builds us strength. I gave you one of my books, and you was one of the ones that was really encouraging with that book. But inside the book, I showed 12 streams of income, but inside those 12 streams, there's 12 walls.
Okay.
And those walls are built by the pain that we go through. The pain builds walls. It doesn't build a barrier. It builds a wall. So now we are building ourselves a wall that will allow us to go through things better because we allow it to strengthen us, not weaken us, right? And that's the secret. The secret is to be strengthened by what we go through, because you either go through it for yourself, for somebody coming behind you, or somebody's going to be introduced to you. So whatever the reason is, it's going to help somebody. So the good news is that we have the strength and the vehicles, because we've gone through, to help somebody. If we allow it to help somebody, similar to what you're doing right now. You're helping people right now.
Well, the one thing I know about you, you are all for helping people. You know, and I truly love you, my brother, because I see the God in you. And there's not too many people that can call me and get me to move for them the way you do. And I'll just give you guys an example of how this brother worked. He called me one day and said, "Hey, David, I got somebody selling the property. I need you to come buy it, but they can't move. I need you to buy it, but let them live there till they get their other house together." Now, ain't no way I'm going to go buy a house and then let the people that I bought the house from stay there. But talking about Jack Harris asked me to do it. Jack, I'm on my way. We close the deal. We leave them people in the house for what, 5 months after I bought it? 4 or 5 months after I bought the house? Yes, simply because, you know, you were being a blessing to others, man. And I tell everybody, it's not too many people I move for like that. But you, my brother, and how you walk, you know what I mean? Because even when you can't do it, you find a way to get it done. You know what I mean? And V. Parker Homes is the name of my real estate company, has never lost money. Has never lost money with you.
Amen.
And that's why we're saying, you know, for 2025, you know, we are going to allocate $5 million, you know, in properties that we buy with you.
Let's get it.
So, you know what I mean? We here, we for it. And tell everybody a little bit about your company.
Yeah, we, Abundant Realty Group is a company that we started, oh my God, many moons ago. We started out as, it was always abundant. Way back in, about 90, I guess 1990, 89, 90, we were Realty World Abundant.
Okay.
Right? And that's the name people don't even realize no more. But the first company that we hung an umbrella under was Realty World. And we was with Realty World for about a good, I guess the first contract, about 10 years. Okay. And then after Realty World, we were Century 21 Abundant, because we bought an office in New Jersey that was already a Century 21 franchise.
Okay.
But I had a PA office as well, and they wouldn't in PA allow, because it was another office that was within the sphere, within the 2-mile radius of another Century 21. So they gave us an opportunity, what they call dual brand. So in Jersey, we was Century 21. In PA, we was ERA. So we ERA, Abundant PA, Century 21, Abundant in New Jersey. And we carried that flag for many years.
Okay.
Between 08 and 10, when the bust bubbled, where we were in the middle of the bubble, we had over 100 and some odd agents. We was, you know, the market was just crazy. The market was crazy. And I'll be honest with you, the market was crazy and I was crazy as well. You know, that's one of the flaws in life. You know, what is flaws in life? That when you're getting it, if you're not wise, if you're not mindful, if you're not minding your business, but you find yourself minding other businesses and doing a lot of things, you have a tendency to cut your cake a little too thin.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I cut the cake a little too thin. We shut down a couple offices, and then I just became one office. And we let go of the umbrellas, and we've ran since then under Abundant Realty Group. My oldest daughter, right when we were in the early part of, right before the bubble, my daughter got her broker's license. She got a license, and then she got her broker's license. And I taught her all I knew about real estate. Now she runs a PA office. She's elite level realty in PA, you know, and she's doing well. And my son, I guess it's been about 4 years ago now, he graduated college. He got his master's degree, and he was getting ready to go to Virginia somewhere and work for the military or something. I said, man, that just didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. I said, well, Doc, you need to come on and learn this business, right? So he said, well, Dad, all right, let's go. And he's took to this thing like a duck take the water. So as a result of him being in the industry, we added abundant lending group. So now we're, the real estate and abundant lending. We're starting to get some traction with abundant lending as well. It's hard money. We lend, which is bridge money, bridge loan. You say hard money, that sounds like something that's going to hurt people, but it's for the fix and flip. So if a person want to buy a house, rehab it, we'll give them up to 80% of the acquisition, 100% of rehab.
Wow.
So that's been pretty exciting.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Are y'all listening?
And refis. We're doing a refi now for a gentleman we just did one in Kansas. We're nationwide with that. So we're starting to get traction. We just did one in Kansas. We got one that we're working on right now, actually, in Staten Island. Some in New Jersey Island. And the guy was trying to get a refi. He's been trying for a while. He was getting rates that was crazy. And we got him a 6.875.
Okay. And
we don't strangle him. I mean, he said most people with 3 points and 4 points. We take 1 point, right? I mean, 1 point is all we charge. I mean, it's a $600,000 deal. We charge 1 point. Well, she said, why would you just charge 1 point? Why not charge 3? Well, because I learned from you. It's all about that give me a little bit of what's going on instead of strangling a person to get it all.
That's it. That way I'm out the way.
I'm out the way. And that class I took from you, man. Yeah. I remember coming up here with you on the 3rd floor in this building, just sitting down, and I'm taking notes, man. And I don't even know if you knew where I was at the time. And I don't know if you knew what you was doing at the time. But you was encouraging me, man. You was talking to me, and there was a lot of things we talked about that really gave me another desire, another strength, right?
Absolutely.
Another bridge. And I went through cancer. We beat cancer. Cancer, knocked on our door, man, knocked hard, right? And said, we here. We brought our family with us, right?
Yeah.
And, it was a shocker, my father died of cancer. He died of lung cancer and he died of prostate cancer. Mm. So, and I watched him die, right? My father was always in my life. I mean, my father, they wrote a song after him, and people laugh when I tell them, but they wrote a song after him. They said, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat, that was his home. I don't know if you ever heard that song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was my father. They wrote that for him, right? So, and of course, that was the mindset that I had coming up. So I was in the game. I had that mindset, and that stuff would kill you. But, when cancer showed up, man, the first thing you do is just say how, and then why. And then you cry and you do all those things, and then you got to tell your family, you got to tell somebody. But the one thing that, and I had talked to my pastor about at the time, and what I decided was I wasn't going to tell anybody anything until I could tell them the problem and the answer. See, a lot of times we come with a problem, and the reason why it's so much of a burden on the person is because we tell them the problem, but we don't tell them the answer. Right? If I tell you my problem, you're going to feel tight. You want to help. But if I tell you the problem and then I tell you the answer, you're like, let me agree with you with that answer. Right?
Or this is how I could help.
This is how I could help because I know your answer. Right? Yeah. Everybody got a problem. You name it, they got a problem.
Yeah.
But the key is to have a problem and an answer. So, the answer was, okay, we're going to tackle this thing head on. And when I told my family, everybody reacted like I thought he was going to react. If you tell them you got cancer, you already did. Oh, my God. Oh, they cried, they boo-hoo. But then I said, well, pause. Here's what we're going to do as a result, right? Now, I appreciate your sadness. I do. And I understand your sadness. I expect it. I receive it. But we ain't going to stop here, right? And I remember, man, my grandmother at the time, because I would go there every morning and make her breakfast And, I miss her now. I'm talking now. I feel her coming. I would get over there, make her breakfast and make her lunch, right? Because she couldn't do no cooking, but she could get up, move around. I had her in a 1-bedroom place. And when I had cancer, but on the weekends, my daughter or my son, one of them, would take the breakfast to her on Sunday morning. They would take 2. So I didn't go on Saturdays. They would take it on Saturdays. Sunday, they would bring double. So for Sunday and Monday. So she had enough. So my surgery, and I had cancer surgery, surgery was on a Friday.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't have to go Saturday. I didn't have to go Sunday, and it snowed. It was snow and ice. They said, look, after the surgery, whatever you do, you can't fall. You cannot fall. I said, okay. Tuesday morning, I was at her house making breakfast.
Wow.
Right. And I never missed a beat. Right. In the middle of all of that. So, but yeah, man, we fought, you name it. That's why when you had mentioned the scars, I said, man, which one you want me to talk about? I got some, but it's just the more you live, the more opportunity you have to go through things, the stronger you find out how strong, I guess I should say, how strong you really are.
Yes.
And we don't know our strength until we go through the test so that we can have the testimony. As I said earlier, everybody wants a testimony. They want the testimony, but it's the test that makes the difference. And the testimony is where the strength comes in it. So, and I see a lot of people give up, man. I mean, I've seen them give up because things don't look good, because things don't look right. I mean, the first thought was to give up when you got cancer. Okay, I'm done. Let's write out the obituary. Let me help him write out. I said, no, dog. We gonna live.
Yes.
You gonna live or you gonna die. I choose life. I choose life 10 out of 10 times. I choose life. And I'm here today to say I'm cancer free. Can't have none for years. And it still befondles my thoughts when I think about what it was like going through. It was more than a notion. And, people look at you and they look at you, like you did. And you got to tell yourself, but I'm still yet alive. And they come in crying and they, I'm so sorry. Hey, don't be sorry. If you want to do something, pray for me, pray my strength, right? But I'm going to pray my strength. I get up every morning between 3 and 4:30. Every morning that there is a morning, I'm up. People say, why you get up so early? I got to take time to go down and pray. Every morning that there is a morning, between 3 and 4:30, I'm downstairs in my house praying. Every morning.
Okay.
Right. And I'm not saying that to impress anybody, but I am saying it to press upon you and impress upon your audience that if they want a thing, if they want to be strong, if they want to have what can come by way of the Spirit, then you got to spend time with him. You got to spend time. It's virtually impossible, man, to have a thing, to have a relationship and not spend time. It doesn't work. And my kids are telling me, Dad, why sometime during the day you sit back and take a nap? I said, I was up when you was asleep, right? I was up. I might take 10, 15 minutes. I just slide down in my chair, take 10, 15 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Let's go, right? But life will teach you that you're either going to be good or bad. And it's all within your power of thinking. Your choice is your thoughts. And you can change it. Watch this. And this is what I teach the agents. I take this and teach agents, right? You have a thought, right? A thought, whether good or bad, a thought is going to create a feeling. You would say, that's not true. That's not true. If you watch television, you can watch a picture. It's television. It's not real. They told you it's not real. You're watching the picture and you start crying.
Yep.
So the thought created a feeling.
Yep.
A feeling created an action, and the action created a result. And it works that way 10 out of 10 times. So if that's the way it works, well, then guess what I can do? I can direct my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I can pre-arrange my thoughts. If I pre-arrange my thoughts, I'm going to get a brand new thought that's going to give me a brand new feeling. That's going to give me a brand new action. That's going to give me a brand new results. And that is how it works. And people say, well, I don't know why this happened. I can tell you why it happened. Because of your thoughts.
Wow.
And I call it stinking thinking. And that thought we have a chance to change. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting carried away.
Nah, brother, listen, I am learning. I am enjoying it.
Yeah,
and this is why you're here.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you
Yes,
know,
sir.
I'm excited, man.
I'm
And I am
encouraged.
learning. Pastor Harris is here teaching. Brother Jamie, are you listening? You know, he is on it. You know, so this is good, brother.
Yeah.
Like, and hearing all of this from you, I would have never known.
Yeah.
Bro, when I see you, you are happy, you are upbeat,
Yeah.
you are positive, you are first one in the door. How can I help?
Yeah.
And that's just why our relationship has been the way it's been.
Yeah.
You know, like we hit it off immediately.
Like kind.
And hearing this, man, this is good, brother. That's why when I called you and said, hey, listen, Jack, I got a podcast. I need you to come on through.
Say what time? Just say what time?
What time?
You know, one of the things that I'm in the process of doing now is my book, Discover Your 12 Streams of Income and Fulfillment. Right?
Okay.
That's the book.
We got to have you bring a copy
to
the show. Sit with us.
And, the Lord said to me, he said, okay, I'm showing you 12 streams, right? And some people say, well, it's impossible to have 12 streams. You just can't have it. Well, yes, you can.
You can.
Right? So he told me, he said, okay, now I need you to go do the 12. I need you to have all 12 of them working, right? So I said, okay, so what we going to do next? So I started culinary school, I guess about 3-4 months ago now. So I have my culinary degree, right? Because I've always wanted to have it. And that's one of my streams, right? And I'm enjoying it. I'm truly enjoying and I had a restaurant years ago. I mean, years ago when I was in the pharmaceutical business, that was one of my outlets. They would come in the store and get a bag of chips and have wild money paying for a bag of chips. But again, this time we're going to do it right. And, I'm learning, how to really run a restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm determining what kind I want. I know I pretty much have an idea of what it's going to be.
I used to own nightclubs, so I get it.
Yeah.
It is tricky. It is fun.
Yeah.
Once you understand it.
Once you understand it.
Yeah.
The first time I was in it, I was just doing it, but now I'm understanding all of the intricacies of it and how you price a meal. That was always, how do you determine how much this meal should cost? Well, that was one of the things that I always wondered. I would go to 5 different places and look at their prices and say, okay, let me be somewhere in the middle. Well, it depends, so there is a way to do that. So I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I will be in April of next year. I will be a certified life coach. So I'm studying life coaching right now.
Okay.
So I'll be able to not only take on clients to coach, but actually be speaking in forums, coaching and teaching folk how to do this life. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's another one of those streams. He said, you got to do all 12. So I said, okay, well then let's go do it. Now, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I have no desire to leave here yet. Right. Mm-hmm. But until I do it all, until I'm fulfilling the book that he gave me. And, we are going to fulfill them all. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm close to that 12 streams of income. You know how I do.
Good. Yeah.
I'm constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm close.
That's key.
So I'm with you, and I am a big believer in that. Like,
that's
why
important.
not?
That's important.
What good is having money if you ain't going to invest it?
That's right. If you're not going to invest
You know what I mean? So I am big on it.
David had them. David, and that's where it came to me from. David had all 12 streams working, and they were working, right? And some of them he knew, some of them Samuel had to come and tell him. Samuel Had to tell him he was king. He didn't know. He was out there with the sheep. And people say he was out there with the sheep. Man, the sheep was making money for the house. That's how they ate. He was out there taking care of them sheep, right? But he could also soothe the king. He could soothe the king, right? But he was also a man of war, right? And he was the king. So in each one of those areas, break out the different streams. And then out of those streams, in the book of Revelation, it said there was 3 from the north, 3 from the south, 3 gates from the east, 3 gates from the west. So you put all those together, that's 12. So each of those main streams flows another 3 minor streams.
Okay.
And that's how we get to the 12. And that's something that when he gave me, he said, man, I don't understand it yet. That's okay. We can find them all in you. I can show you how to see them. Now, they may not be working because you didn't know it. Most people learn a thing, become good at a thing, and then stop doing that thing to go do something else. Right?
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I mean, that's.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting there jumping up and down.
Yeah.
You have that down, just add to it.
Or let that one just roll. Let it roll, but as long as it keep producing,
brother,
why are you killing it?
I came to your office this year because I opened up a film company.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah,
in my first year, we shot 4 films.
Wow. Okay.
I'm getting ready to go into my first big film next year that I wrote. So it's going to be wrote, directed, produced by me.
Awesome.
And that's within a year. And it's just like, I'm going to continue to add.
That's respect.
I am going to continue to add. We have some other great surprises coming.
Good.
We're going to continue to build on it because I want 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
We're here. Why not?
That's right.
All right. Why not create opportunity?
Yes, we should.
And even with us sitting here today, it's just all about being able to teach and grow and fellowship.
Yeah.
Like you said, Joe, you come into the office and sit and talk. Man, we talk for hours.
God, hey man, and I look forward to them. You know, because the second that we believe we know everything is the second you begin to die. You begin to kill yourself mentally. And my grandmother at 98, girlfriend couldn't move real fast. But on her mind, she was sharp. I mean, she was sharp. I'd sit down with her for time and just talk. And she would answer it. She would just have something for it. And that's because you keep that thing sharp.
There you go.
And that's one thing I respect about, one of the things I respect about you, man. And when we first got together, it came by way of, just happenstance. Of course, a mutual friend of ours put us together, but it was almost like a meeting of the minds that came together because there was 2 energies of like kind that came together, right?
Absolutely.
And at the time, man, I needed a person in my life like you, right? To just sow some things in me that were void, that were open, that was exposed, that was hidden. And of course, that was hurt. And some of those things, you'll never know, man. Some of the conversation we had sitting up in that room, right, it was really life transforming. And I will always be in your debt for those.
I'm with you, my brother.
Yes, sir. For sure.
Our first project was what? Clubhouse. That was the first property, right?
Yeah, it was. In Willingboro.
Yeah,
Clubhouse was the first project. Yeah, it was. Nice house. Big house.
Nice house.
Big house.
And I said, okay. Yeah. I just started V. Parker Homes because it's named after my mom.
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm going to start this real estate company. I'm sitting here, I'm in this office here, and I'm thinking about it. So I write the name down, V. Parker, right? And the very next day, that mutual friend called me for something else. And then said, hey, I have a realtor I want you to meet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Game on.
Yeah.
And within weeks, bought the first house for V. Parker Homes.
Yeah.
And it was on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Right? Things are coming together now.
Absolutely.
The market now is, I've been in this game, man, for many, many moons. But I had never seen a market like the one we just came out of. We're coming out of a seller's market for as long as it was. Usually sellers markets will last 6 months, maybe a year at most. We was in the seller's market for 4 years. 4 years. And some people didn't understand how that could happen. Well, we had an economy that got shut down, told people you can't go outside, stopped foreclosures, everything was stopped. And it takes time for all those mechanisms to build back up. And the people that would sell, then that could sell or that had to sell, there was a line of buyers because they dropped the interest rate down to 2%. Mm-hmm. So if you could buy, you was buying. You can't sell. So that meant that supply and demand, it was a low supply. So demand was through the roof. And it was a difficult time for people that wasn't able to make it through a tough time. Okay. But that market is changing. I mean, literally now the inventory is up and now it's coming to be what's known as a buyer's market. Out of 20 years, it'll be a 1 year seller's market, 19 years a buyer's market. That's the average. Mm-hmm. Well, we're on our way back to the good old times, if you will, right? So that's exciting about the industry. It's exciting about business, exciting about life. It just shows the trends of life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I see it, bro. And the last property we closed that I sold, there's so much love in your closing, right? From your buyers, the love, and that is a beautiful thing. Yeah. Because the one thing about you, it's not about the money. Right. You know, it's about you really bringing joy to people. So that in itself has to be a fulfilling feeling, right? To know that you are changing people's lives in a way where, you know, like that lady couldn't stop hugging you. Yeah. You know, and that is a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I mean, you know, and it happened. I remember one of the first deals I did in business. It was a lady, I went to list her house. It was an older lady. I mean, she was probably in the 80s, right? And she said, I done had 2 people up in here. And each one of them, for lack of a better word, ripped her off, right? Mm-hmm. And she was hard to trust anybody. And I said, ma'am, I'll do my very best for you to make it work for you. And she said, okay. She signed the papers, got the listing. When we sold the property at closing, I could see she was still nervous, expecting things to go wrong, right? And when they handed her a check, I will never forget this if I live to be 100. She said, come here, Sonny. And I leaned over and she kissed me on my cheek. That meant more than the money. It really did. And that's when I decided I was going to help people. And when I came in this business, man, a lot of people that I had in the areas that I was doing inside of Philly, okay, a lot of those older people couldn't read. They literally could not read. And a lot of them had got advantage taken of them. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a difference, right? Because, I mean, even to today, you can tell, you go to close the person, they sit there for 20 minutes, and they're not reading the documents. Nah. And then they ask you something that has nothing to do with that document. And I know that I have to work harder to make sure that person or those people's interests are protected. And that is really what I pride myself on, is studying so that I understand. The Bible says study, show yourself approved. But studying so that I can make sure that when those bridges come, and they will come, right, that we can make sure that we take care of the people that we are here to represent, if you will. And then know the difference. Market just changed. You know, we've been in this business, man, for many years. Within the last 6 months, there's been a change in the market for the first time ever, right? And this they was fighting over for 20, 30 years, just fighting back and forth. Well, the ruling hit 6 months ago. 2 months ago, everything changed, right? So then the sellers determined what they want to do. The sellers sued and won, right? I mean, they won, and it was a big landslide. So how does that change the economy? It changes everything, right? And it just means that we have to be better at what we do so that we can protect ourselves and, of course, protect those that we are here to serve. Yeah. And that's a scar. That's a scar. And it cleared out. The beginning of 6 months ago, a statistic, the National Association of Realtors making statistics, 1.2 million realtors left the industry when this change took place because they couldn't see how they could still make money. They just left. And I've seen a million of those changes take place. But what does that mean? That means that a change is coming and we become better so that we can do better. It's just called life. It's a scar.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Especially because, I'm busy. So for me, Jack is the kind of person that for my closings, I can show up and sign and leave. Yeah. I'm not there. If there's some money that's coming my way from the purchase or the sale, he'll get it to me. He'll call me and say, do you want me to bring the closing documents to you? And I'll get them signed. He has always been that type of business person, so I mean, that is everything in business.
Absolutely.
And I tell people you can make money doing just about anything. All right. Mm-hmm. But to enjoy the people you work with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
I want to spend these days working with people I enjoy being around. Mm-hmm. And when we go into a buy or a sell, no matter what goes on, once we buy it and going through the rehab or whatever, I enjoy us fellowship. Yeah. I enjoy seeing your son pull up. It made my day when he was in there taking pictures because I'm seeing that next generation take over, and like I told you before, your company would always be Parker's business.
I appreciate that.
Our company will always look to kind of come to you to find us those properties. And, and we're going to overdo it, because we want the people to get them to be happy.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not about selling a house. It's about, creating a home.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it'll be like, David, you're not done yet. Nah, I want to make it nice because I'm not looking at the profit. I am looking at someone going in and saying, I want to spend the next 60 years.
Right.
And that's what it's about for us. And that's what makes us happy.
That's key.
And, and knowing that I got a partner like you, it works, and that's why I'll call you once a month. My brother, I'm here. What we doing? And I mean that, but I trust that with you, it's not based on profit. You'll call me and say, when it's right, I'll call you.
That's right.
I'm looking for something that's right. If it doesn't make any sense, I'm not going to do it. It's not about the commission or anything else. And we are missing that, right? That element. That, this relationship is worth more than money.
Yeah, I just think that, and you hit the nail on the head. I think that today, and I don't want to become judgmental, but a lot of people today, relationships don't mean nothing.
Nah.
Between the social media and all, you got 5,000 friends. Well, that's not a friend. That's not a friend. You got 5,000 people that said okay to you on social media. But that's not a friend, and that's what I think is what's separating or keeping apart relationships like this, right? Because they're trying to live on something that just doesn't live, it doesn't breathe, it doesn't really have life. It's just there, but there's no life in it. And if there's no life in it, then it has a greater ability to hurt you and or be dangerous for you. So I appreciate the time, man. I really do.
We're going to continue to turn up, man.
Yeah. I appreciate this time. I appreciate what you're doing for people because prayerfully there's somebody that hear what you're doing or get an airwave of it or whatever it is, sit down and listen to it, and something in there makes them better. And if one iota of whatever you're doing makes somebody better, then you've done your service. You've done your job. And I mean, so many times, man, there's so many people, Dave, that I drive from Philly to Jersey. When I cross that bridge, at the bottom of the bridge, there's guys out there with cans and whatever. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I always ask myself, what drove them to that?
Yes.
Because it was somewhere along the line, they were okay. And something snapped and they never came back. And, my prayer is every day that I can encourage somebody or at least show somebody that there is another way, right? There is another way. Even it's all about our thoughts, man. It's all about the thoughts.
There you go. And that is why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to fellowship, share, because it's important.
Yeah.
Because we had to get up.
Right.
And there are times I did not want to get up.
Oh, dog. Many times.
And I had to get up, and I spend a lot of time in the office, and I meet all types of people, and they come in, and I'm like, you know what? We have to share these stories because we're here, and we're here, and made it through. Like there are things, man, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like with me, like I'm turning left. I'm figuring it out as I'm going along. And I'm here to tell you, man, like I have been rocked in business and in life at times. And I said, you know what? I ain't got no choice but to get up. So now that's all I know how to do. All I know how to do is continue to move forward.
And that's the strength.
Wins, losses, I don't keep track.
Right.
We are moving forward. What are we doing today?
Right.
How can we grow? How can we help someone? Because the last thing I wanted to do was do a podcast. Right. But, that's how I'm called to serve. So I'm here, and I will continue to grow in this space. I will continue to help. We're putting some other great things together here at this office, and we will plant a flag in people's lives.
That's good.
And they won't be able to say, I don't know nobody that mean well. I don't know nobody that got love for me. Because, I'll call you and be like, my brother, I'm just calling to tell you I love you.
And that means more, man, than I don't have, to be honest with you, I don't have nobody that does that but you. Literally. And that's not to take away or add to. It's just real.
Yeah.
It's just real. I get people call, hey man, I love you. I need and I want, I have to, and that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. But man, you're the only person that I know in my life, to this point in my life, that have called and say, man, I don't want nothing. Don't mean, just want to holler at you. I'm just say, hey, I don't have that. I don't have that one, bro.
We got to stick together.
Yeah, we got to.
I tell people at the office, man, people that's crooks, bro, they wake up every day with running the scam on their brain. Yeah. They will work together, you know what I mean? And they will look for other people that they can scheme and connive with all day. Good people, we don't look for each other. No, we just try to stay in our lane.
You're right.
I'm just going to stay focused. And we need to do a better job at finding, you know what I mean, our village. And sticking together.
Yeah, you're a good dude, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
You're one of a kind. You're one of a kind. And, every now and then, God make one of you, and, hey man, I wish you all that God can give you. And then some.
My brother, thank you for coming out today.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And we're going to,
So in closing, is there anything you want to leave with my audience?
Yeah. Know that in life, if you get one true friend, you got a lot. And in life, if you get one Dave Still, you got a lot. And cherish it and respect it and allow time to season you in it.
I'm with you, my brother.
Yeah.
My brother Jack Harris, thank you for coming out.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for coming.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to have you back on so we can talk about your book.
Tell me when.
Listen, I'm going to make some time because I want you to take everybody through the 12 steps.
Okay.
So we're going to make it your hour, man. Y'all get your pens, paper, and you can tell them where they can get the book.
Okay, yeah. You can.
Matter of fact, we're going to buy some copies so you can sign them here and we'll be able to give them away, Jay, to the people that's watching the show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be great, man.
So count us in for 20 books. We'll start there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with it. Pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure.
All right, y'all. Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on Scars. Tune in next week. We're going to keep bringing it to you guys. We out, Jay.